The whole thing falls on one thing, the amendment budget readings. If we're waiting for a float or a basket, what is it that's going to give us the float or the basket? The amendments. If they pass the amendment, all hell is going to break loose, but this time in a good way. In Iraq they're going to be using the dinar, that's all there is to it. If they change the value of their currency, it's likely they're going to be using the dinar because it's going to be a strong currency, and it's relatively likely to lead to a basket of currencies, just like everybody else is relative to a basket of currencies in some shape or form. Question: do you think Trump knows when we'll RV? Marks: I do know someone from inside the new administration who has absolutely every reason to be up to speed because of where they are at. They are saying that the value change in currencies is on the absolute top of their list. It was reassuring to hear that from a political source that this is a priority. Also, this person is a currency holder. This revaluation would fix a lot of problems. I cannot say more without getting into lots of trouble. The CBI is being very cautious to see how the US Trump administration is going to play out. Remember that Iraq is ditching the dollar, but Trump has vowed to keep the USD as the reserve currency around the world. Remember, Iraq just de-dollarized and would love to get off the petrodollar and find another peg or basket of currencies to peg to. I know for a fact the IMF has been working on this new basket of 6 currencies for this purpose. Will the US Treasury under the Trump administration accept it? Let's see how this plays out. There is new sheriff in town, and his name is Donald Trump. What will his policy be towards the Iraqi financial system? 4 years have passed since his last administration, and there has been way too much progress in the banking and financial reforms to turn back to the days of the prior Trump administration laden with sanctions. I am told by my CBI contact that al-Sudani is hoping for an invite to visit the new president in Washington, or better yet have him come to Iraq. One of the key things in a monetary policy when they go to revalue a country is they have high security. They want to tamp down currency manipulation. They want to stamp out the black market. That's all part of the process. Article quote: any attempt to manufacture, possess or pass on fake banknotes is a criminal act that is severely punished by law, calling for the delivery of any fake banknotes to the police and to the Central Bank of Iraq. I heard this from several different groups. No taxes on our exchange. We are starting to hear more and more logistics on this thing. There is progress and movement happening. I'm not trying to give you a date. Iraq can only change their rate on a Sunday. The rate will change on what is their Sunday morning before or by the time their banks open. Their banks open Sunday morning 8 a.m. their time. Here's the unknown variable in this. Does Iraq need something like a holiday to legitimately suspend or pause their currency auction on a Sunday, allowing them to change the rate? That's a question none of us can answer. We don't know. In a float, there will be no wild ride with gyrating values. A float is a mechanism devised so a basket of currencies will remain relatively stable. It cannot move more than 2% either way, up or down, every 90 days. That means any significant movement in value, per currency, will take a very long time. Mr. Sami says when Amendment 12 of Budget passes, then the next step will be that the budget table will be going to Parliament. Once that passes, a new rate will show before the tables go to Parliament, because the budget table line items need that rate. Frank, thank you for that understanding. I really appreciate it. I'm going to rule out the 15 days and focus only on the accomplishment of the amendments that will expose the new budget and the new rate. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we are seeing many signs that it is very close. I was told by political sources that it is a top priority for our new US administration to see currency and rate changes. CBI unveils new banknote security features. Yes, they are new banknotes, but the difference between the new ones and the old ones is there are additional security features on there, so no, there's no panic about you having to switch out your old notes for the new notes. Why go through the hassle of putting on all these additional security features if you thought you were going to change your currency and give it a redenomination without the zeros and change the exchange rate? Doesn't sound to me like there is any plans in the very near future for them to go ahead and redenominate as well as change the exchange rate. I was misinformed, and I misinformed you guys. This could not go before President Trump made his way back into the Oval Office, and the information we were getting might have been coded, and we took the code wrong, or whatever happened. My fault, my bad. The good news is he is back in as of the 20th of January, but now that we've crossed that threshold that President Trump is back, and the good news is that we are moving forward, I just think we're looking very good to get started with this. There is nothing else to hold us up from going. The federal government denied Thursday, January 23, 2025, what was announced by the spokesman for the Kurdistan Regional Government, regarding submitting a proposal contrary to the amendment of the Council of Ministers in the Financial Budget Law to the House of Representatives. Government spokesman Bassem Alawadi said in a statement, based on the government's keenness on transparency and informing citizens of the progress of its executive work, especially with regard to the budget issue, which is a fundamental pillar for implementing the commitments contained in the government program, we affirm the government's commitment to the amendments sent to the House of Representatives regarding the budget law, which takes into account the supreme national interest. And we stress that the government's representative in the House of Representatives stressed the need not to make any other amendments to the budget law that contradict the texts submitted by the Council of Ministers. He added, at the same time, we deny what was stated in the statement of the spokesman for the Kurdistan Regional Government of Iraq, and we are surprised by what was stated in it regarding the claim that the representative of the federal government in the House of Representatives obstructed the amendment of the article related to the procedures for resuming oil exports from the region. Alawadi stressed the importance of the Kurdistan Regional Government's commitment to the provisions of the Federal General Budget Law, including the delivery of financial revenues, whether oil or non-oil, to the federal government, in accordance with what is stipulated in the law and the decision of the federal court. He explained that adherence to these procedures is a necessary step to resolve the problems related to this file and enhance cooperation between the two sides, and the federal government hopes that the House of Representatives will expedite the approval of the amendment in accordance with the text approved by the Council of Ministers, for the benefit of Iraq, all of Iraq.